Hey there, sports fans. As we enter the dog days of hockey season, kindly take note. If you want to play the best game you can name in the People's Woke Republic of Toronto, please note that Hogtown recently implemented a dress code for shinny enthusiasts, which is to say, if you don the wrong kind of hockey haberdashery, you're going to receive a game suspension or worse, for the egregious crime of wearing a politically incorrect hockey jersey? Now, a politically incorrect hockey sweater, by the way, would be that of the Chicago Blackhawks or any other jersey depicting any sort of Indigenous theme. But check out this statement by Toronto's Parks, Forestry and Recreation Department, quote, "To promote a positive and inclusive experience in City of Toronto sports facilities and to protect the dignity and well-being of Indigenous communities, the City of Toronto prohibits the display of Indigenous-themed sports images, logos, or team names, except for those used by Indigenous sports organizations." Wow, folks, just when did municipal politicians and bureaucrats reinvent themselves as the cancel culture cops? Aren't they supposed to be focused on, picking up the garbage, clearing the streets of snow, etc.? And by the way, an inconvenient question arises with this latest municipal mandate. Are Indigenous people really offended by Native-themed sports logos, nicknames, etc.? Time out for a quick anecdote, folks. I started my journalism career, such as it is, back in 1985 in the northern Alberta town of St. Paul. There are several Native reserves near St. Paul, and the first thing I noticed whenever I visited an arena on reserve territory was that the most prominent hockey sweater by far worn by Indigenous people was, drumroll please, the red, black, and white of the Chicago Blackhawks. Keep in mind, this was in the mid-'80s at the very height of the Edmonton Oilers dynasty and in a region that was just 2 hours away from Edmonton, yet natives with their own moolah were buying Blackhawk jerseys. And why wouldn't they? I truly think that the iconic Chicago Blackhawk sweater is the most gorgeous jersey in the entire sports world. Obviously, a preponderance of Indigenous folk feel likewise. But apparently, when it comes to the politically correct palefaces at Toronto City Hall, well, they know best when it comes to allegedly offensive hockey haberdashery. By the way, when I read the city policy statement earlier, did you pick up on a mind-boggling loophole? Namely, it is offside for an individual skater, even a native, to don a Blackhawks jersey at a Toronto rink, but it's perfectly fine for an entire group of natives to play shinny wearing such gear. So what's the message here? That a little bit of alleged racism on the ice, well, that's not okay, but a whole lot of alleged racism down at the rink, well, that's perfectly fine. How the HE double hockey sticks does that make any sense? Also, folks, I really want to be in a Toronto hockey arena when a sole Indigenous person dons a Chicago Blackhawks jersey for a game of pickup and is then asked to leave by, the Zamboni driver who is now doing double duty as a social justice security guard these days. Can you imagine that conversation? Which essentially boils down to this narrative. Sorry, guy, if you are too ignorant to be offended by a Blackhawks jersey, well, then we at the City of Toronto will be offended for you. Yeah, I know what you're thinking, folks. What the puck? For Rebel News, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies. Please take the off-ramp from YouTube, go to Rumble, go to Super U, go to Odyssey, and of course, go to rebelnews.com